Hello everyone and welcome to In the Kitchen with Kim. My name is Kim Mcghee and I help meat eaters love plants so you can learn to heal your bodies from the inside out with the power of food. My motto is 80% vegan plus 20% indulgence equals a happy balance. So today we're going to be making some vegan gumbo. Yeah! Woo, 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 woo. I'm super excited because this is like my favorite dish. I could literally eat it every single week. So I wanted to share this recipe out of my cookbook so we can get to cooking. Okay, so quickly I'm going to go over the ingredients. Now this gumbo is like super good. Believe it or not, I like it better than the traditional gumbo with the shrimp and crab, and it is definitely a crowd pleaser. Your husband will love it, your kids will love it, and most importantly, you will love it yourself. So, it's a vegan chicken and sausage gumbo, and I like to play around with the sausages, so you can use whatever vegan sausage you want. And before I go any further, let me log on so I can see who's here and what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna share this inside of my group and then turn it down just a little. Okay. Oh, hi Brianna. Hi Poozie Pie. Okay, so now that this is turned down, let's get to cooking. Okay, so let me go over the ingredients really quickly. I have one, wait a minute. Okay, this is the bell pepper. One medium bell pepper. I have 2 stalks of celery. Now this is finely diced, so you just want to make sure it's all finely diced. And then I have 1 medium yellow onion as well. Okay, and these are going to be, that's like the trio. That's what's really going to flavor our roux and get it nice and flavorful. Because the roux alone is super delicious. So when you add in the other things, it just makes it that much more delicious. And let's just talk about the time. I'm not a morning person. I tried to set this whole live thing up for the morning, and it was an epic. I'm not gonna say it was a fail because it was a learning experience. But now I know I definitely can't do 9:30. That's just too early for me. I've never really been a morning person, but I wanted to give it a shot. And I'm here at about 10:50, so we're gonna stick to maybe like 11 or noon. Okay, and then I also have some corn on the cob. Now, depending on how many people you're serving, I have a family of 4, and we want seconds, so I'm using all 4 ears of corn. And I cut them in about 1.5 inch slices, if you can see that. Yeah, so it depending on how many people you're serving, you can do maybe 2 ears of corn or 4 ears of corn. I'm doing 4, and believe me, the corn won't go to waste. So whether you put 2 or 4, it's gonna be eaten. And what I like to do is I like to use my corn to sop up the juice and just bite into it. Oh my goodness, it's so delicious. Okay, and then another thing we're using is 1 can of organic jackfruit. So I wanted to show you something. This is rinsed and drained. I rinsed and drained this, and then I put it in a bowl because you have to squeeze out the excess juice, I should say. So I just wanted to show you really quickly what I mean by that. So this is one that's rinsed and drained, and I'm literally squeezing out the extra juice. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I mean by just squeeze out the excess. So let's see. And then I have a bowl under here, so then I'll be able to like really show you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna squeeze these two out, and you see that juice coming out of there? That's excess. You don't want it in there, so just make sure that all your jackfruit is rinsed, drained, and then you squeeze out the excess juice, and that's my jackfruit. Now, we're also using king oyster mushrooms. So we have two chicken replacements, which is the jackfruit, and I'm gonna saute this, so I'm not gonna just put it in the gumbo as is, and the king oyster mushroom. As you can see, I've broken them up and they look like chicken pieces. I'm gonna saute these as well, and they're really going to mimic the chicken pieces. So I just wanted to show you really quick. It's easy. This is a king oyster mushroom, if you can see that. I just literally just break it in half, and then I break it in half again, and then I just break it into little pieces. So that way they look like bite-sized little chicken pieces. Okay, and I just wanted to show you guys that. I pretty much prepared and prepped everything. So this is going to mimic our chicken. All right, so then I have sausages as well. So in this gumbo dish, I use the sweet earth sausage. So today I'm using the chorizo style sausages because I wanted a little spicy. Usually I use the jalapeno and cheddar sausages, and they have a little kick too, but it's not really spicy. So both of these have like a mild little spice kick to it, which really takes the gumbo up another notch. And then I also have the Beyond Link Hot Italian. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably use half of this and half of this, and then slice them up and put them into my gumbo as well. All right, so I wanna show you how the pack of king oyster mushrooms come. You see, it's a few in there. You can also get them at your local Asian store, but they're a little bigger at your Asian store. I got these from Whole Foods, but they're organic king oyster mushrooms, and this is what we're using, like I said, for the chicken. All right, and then I also have okra. Everybody's not a fan of okra. You can pretty much put in this gumbo what you want, but if you follow this recipe, I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. It is that delicious, and I'm not exaggerating. Believe me, I've had plenty of people taste test this, and they always are like, this tastes better than real gumbo. I'm like, yes, because it's my vegan gumbo. So I'm gonna put these in towards the end because you don't want to overcook them. And I don't know about you, but I don't like my okra mushy, where everything is just slimy. I still want a little bite to it, but it's tender enough for you to enjoy inside your soup. Okay, we're also using the Better Than Bouillon. Now this is a trick. This is a kitchen hack. If you are tired of buying all of this, what is it called? Chicken broth, chicken stock, vegetable broth. This is Better Than Bouillon, no chicken base. So it is vegan. It tastes like chicken broth, but it's not chicken broth. It's made from all vegetables. And this thing costs about $5.99, $6.99, depending on where you get it from. But you can turn this into so much broth. So 1 teaspoon equals 8 ounces of broth when you mix it with water. So this is what we're gonna be using for our broth. I already have it going. I actually needed 13 teaspoons, 13 teaspoons. So basically 12 teaspoons plus 1 extra. 12 teaspoons is 1/4 cup. So I'm putting 1/4 cup, and then I'm mixing it with my water. So I actually added 13 cups of water in here as well to make the broth. Now, let me show you the broth because it's already on the stove. I've already made it, and I have an extra little trick that I use. Okay, so I don't know if you guys see that. I'm gonna move this and hopefully I can. Okay, so what I did was I added, where's my butter? I added 1/4 cup of this into my pot, and then I added 13 cups of water in there, and then I also added 1 sheet of nori. It's untoasted nori. You see this? Now this is like the little secret because it has a little fishy taste. So this infuses like the seafood flavor inside the broth. Not to where it's gonna overpower it, but to where it's just gonna make it that much more savory. So, excuse me, that's a little tip. Of course, the recipe will be available for free if you join my group. So if you haven't already joined my group, I need you to go in there and do that now because we're gonna be doing some amazing things inside. Okay, so let's get started and then I'll finish in explaining the things as we go. But trick number 1 or tip number 1, the key to a great roux is your flour to oil ratio, and then the fact that you don't want it lumpy, of course, but you want it nice and smooth. So this is gonna require you to be in the kitchen. It's gonna take a little work, but it's so worth the effort. I mean, this whole recipe from start to finish takes about an hour and a half, but believe me, once you're done, you're gonna be the hero of your kitchen, literally, because your family is gonna be raving. Everybody is gonna be wanting seconds or even thirds if it's left, I should say. Okay, so my skillet or my pot is, I turned it on a low because I wanna start it off on like a low medium because I don't want my flour to burn. So the key to a roux is to stir it nice and slow and it browns over time. Now, if you do it too fast, then you will literally burn your flour and then your whole pot of gumbo will taste like burnt flour. So you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, and I made it to where it's as healthy as possible because usually with gumbo, they require at least a cup or 2 of oil. So we scaled this all the way down to about 2/3 cup. And then we're using 1 whole cup of flour. And it'll still be nice and smooth enough for you to stir it. So I'm gonna add in, about 2/3 cup, so that's 1/3. And we're gonna add in another 1/3 cup. And my broth is nice and simmered. The nori sheet is in there, so with the vegan chicken broth and that nori sheet, it's gonna create like amazing broth flavor. Okay, so that's 2/3. And then I also have 1 cup of flour. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that in there. And then now is the part where you're just going to stir. And you wanna keep an eye on it. And I'll show you as it starts to, smooth out and turn colors. Because right now it's like a beige color. And we wanted to get a chocolate brown color because let's face it, no one wants pale gumbo, okay? No one wants pale gumbo. Okay, so now I'm gonna do 2 things at once. While this is cooking and my roux is starting to brown, let me see if I can show you the color first. So I want you to see the difference. Okay, this is what we're starting off with. You see that? It's like a light brown. Okay, by the time we finish this, it's gonna be a chocolatey brown color. Literally like a piece of dark chocolate. And like I said, you can do this quickly, but for the initial part, you want to take your time and you don't want to do it too quickly because it'll burn. And you don't want your fire on high either because it'll burn. And burnt flour tastes gross. So you definitely want to stick to the low and slow. If not low, then like a medium low. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way and put this on. And then I'm gonna start to saute my my oyster mushrooms and my jackfruit and then my sausages. So it's like I'm doing two things at once. I always usually do the broth first, so then I don't have to worry about that while I'm cooking the gumbo. Okay, if you guys have any questions, then just be sure to drop them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer. Okay, so now while this is cooking, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I will never forget the year 2018. Literally, I had been working as a nurse. I got fired from my job, and then I just knew in my heart that I never wanted to work for someone else again, okay? That was back in 2003. Fast forward to 2018 is where I just was really, okay, wait a minute. Because I don't want to confuse you guys. Okay, in 2003, I was working as a registered nurse at UCLA Hospital. I had just had my son, and I was getting ready to go back to work. You know, I only had 6 weeks off, so I was getting ready to go back to work. And my supervisor was supposed to change me to the day shift and not keep me on the night shift. So I'm extremely exhausted. I just had a baby. I'm breastfeeding, and I go back to work, and she puts me, or keeps me, on the night shift, I should say. And not only that, but she wanted me to just be a sitter. She was like, Kim, I found something nice and easy for you. You can just sit in the room with the patients and you'll be fine. Okay, needless to say, we're in the dark. I'm in there with the patients. They're asleep. I fell asleep. And so I ended up falling asleep on the job. In turn, I ended up getting fired. And from that moment on, I said to myself, I never want anyone to be in control of when and when I don't get paid. I want to be the one who controls or is in control of when I get paid. Okay, so of course I was fired. I collected a little bit of unemployment. That ran out. So I decided to turn my passion into, well, my hobby, I should say, my hobby / passion into an actual job. So I started baking cakes and selling them, yes, on the street corner. Could you imagine? With my newborn son, literally, I'm on the street corner. I have a little baby. He's about 3 months old. I'm breastfeeding him as well. And this is all out on the street corner, okay? If you're from Los Angeles, this is the king oyster mushroom. So I'm gonna start sauteing this so we can brown it up so it can mimic our chicken. But I'm literally on the street corner with my baby selling these cakes, trying the best way that I can to make a living. And I just kept at it. And eventually, there was a shift because I started doing the farmers markets. Now, at this time, the farmers markets were sort of big, so it was pretty good. It was pretty profitable. People really love the cakes and the banana pudding and the peach cobbler and everything that I had to offer. But then it came to us having so many orders from the farmer's market that I had to literally stop doing that and just take phone orders only. So we became a phone order bakery. And I did custom cakes, sheet cakes, wedding cakes, you name it, for the longest. For at least like 15 to 17 years. So I'm a self-taught pastry chef, and I mastered that craft. And that's why I'm going to be sharing some of my delicious recipes. These are tried and true cake recipes, and show you guys how to decorate some cakes as well. All right, so this is too high. I'm going to turn it down lower. And as you can see right now, it's sort of like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little darker than before. It's getting there. Okay, let me grab a little salt and pepper. But could you give me the pepper? I have my salt right here. And this is Himalayan sea salt that I'm sprinkling it on the mushrooms. Just a little. I know it might look like a lot, but it's not really coming out. Okay, so now, when I started the whole bakery, never in my wildest dreams could I imagine it taking a toll on not only my body, but my family, because literally there was never a break. I literally worked at least 6 days a week, sometimes 7, for 15 to 17 hours a day. You know, custom cakes take a lot. You know, there's people who always call at the last minute saying, oh, can I get a custom cake? No. Some cakes take about 3 days or maybe 7 days. Excuse me. Depending on, that pepper. I have water in it. Woo. Excuse me, guys. That pepper went down my throat. Cakes can take upwards to a week sometimes, depending on the details of the decorations. So that began to really take a toll, not only on my body, but on my family. I was always working. I never really had time for my kids. And my body literally started breaking down because I wasn't eating right. I was eating the standard American diet, just like everybody else. Tons of meat 3 times a day with each meal. You know, sometimes microwavable foods. And then I really didn't know the difference between GMOs and organic food. So I started to do my research. And what I found out was like atrocious. I found out that we are being systematically poisoned through our food, through our water, through our air, of course, and just by the products that we use every single day on our bodies, from the simple lotions to just everything. And mind you, our skin is our biggest organ. So it absorbs whatever we put on it within about 20 seconds. So whatever you're putting on your skin, that fast it gets absorbed into your body. I need to get a spatula. Hold on just a second. Dishwasher. Okay. And then hand me the onion powder. Okay, so you see how these are starting to cook? They're getting like a little brown on them. so I'm gonna cook all of the vegan meats all in this one skillet. So I like to do the mushrooms first, then I add in the jackfruit, and then I cook the sausage last. And then this is all while I'm stirring my roux. And so right now it looks like a peanut butter color. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so what I found out, like I said, is that we're literally being poisoned every which way we can. And it's aging us fast. It's killing us faster. So I decided that enough was enough. I couldn't live my life like this no more. And so, mind you, I have been having miscarriages. I had been having migraines, headaches, I mean like really, really bad headaches, joint pains from my legs to my, my elbows and my wrist, just feeling overall fatigued, not to mention the weight gain. I was almost 200 pounds literally, and for my short stature, I'm only 5'5". That's like overweight for me. And it was really taking a toll on my body. So I just had to do something different. So I started to scale back on my orders. And then I also started to change what I ate. Meaning, after I did my research, I switched everything possible in my house, from the veggies to the to the fruits, to the canned foods, to the pastas, to the legumes and beans, whatever I eat, even candy, even chocolate. I just switched it over to organic or non-GMO first. That's the first thing that I did. And from there, I really started to feel better. The joint pain started going away. I didn't have to wrap my knees every single day because I was in excruciating pain. Literally, I was just in so much pain that it was unbearable. So I was basically at the point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So if that sounds like you, then you are definitely in the right place, because throughout my research now, I researched for over 6 years, at least 6 to 7 years before I was comfortable enough to be able to teach anyone anything, because I first had to get it for myself before I can share this with you guys. Okay, ooh, this is coming along nice and well. It's browning. I have it on the low. I'm going to turn it up just a little. Oops, did I lose one? I'm going to put that back again. I don't want to burn myself. So by me switching to organic, I started to heal my body from the inside out, basically, with the power of food. But something was still missing. I still wasn't feeling 100% like myself, like I know I can feel. And so me and my husband, jointly, we decided to go vegan. Now, in the beginning, I started off as 100% vegan. And it was a challenge because I didn't know what the heck to cook. I'm used to, cooking the way that I cooked, or what I was taught to cook for the last 30-something years. I'm 44 now, and that's, excuse me, when I was about 37, somewhere around there, and I looked heavier and older then. I'm actually thinning out, and I look younger. Everybody is a little quarantine thick right now, but this is definitely snapback season. And so that's why we're going to cook these meals and get it together so we can start to heal our bodies from the inside out. Okay, so we decided to go vegan, and I must have felt every emotion that there ever was. I was sad, I was angry, I was upset, I was frustrated, I was happy at times. I just felt all of these emotions. And what it was my body detoxing from all of those chemicals, from all of that gook that was in my body. It was literally in my bloodstreams, coming out. So that's why I was just feeling this way. Even my head was hurting just a little bit, but it didn't last that long. I think it was like 2 days. But it was my body's way of detoxing because I wasn't putting all of that stuff in my body anymore. Now from there, I started to lose weight, but I was still a little frustrated because I really didn't know what to cook. And I'm not a smoothie and salads type girl. I eat my salads, I drink my smoothies, but that's not something that I can eat every single day. No way. I'm used to home cooked meals. I'm used to getting in the kitchen, throwing down, and cooking myself. So I just really had to pray on it and do some more research. And what I found was, you know, a lot of recipes with beans and quinoa and lentils. And while all that's fine, that's not going to sustain me or my family as far as how we're used to eating. So I just realized, okay, I'm going to start veganizing my dishes and the meals that I've been cooking over the last 30 years. So I started to do that. And then I also was having visions and dreams of recipes that God was giving me in my sleep. So that's how I know it was meant for me to show up and to help you guys. I don't care if it's one person at a time. That's what I love about this, is because you never know who's watching and you never know who you're helping. But it's all part of God's plan into showing you guys that you can cook real meals that taste just like the foods that you love, that are healthier for you, and that your family will love. That's the big thing. If your husband and kids are like it, then it's like a game changer. So you definitely want to pick up my new cookbook. It has over 100 delicious recipes, and they're all plant-based. I have a few indulgence meals in there, but I also have some of my tried and true cake recipes in there as well. I need a plate. Let's see. I have one. Okay, so I'm gonna put my, let's see. I'm just gonna put this here. All right, so now I'm gonna cook my jackfruit. And mind you, my roux is still browning. It's still like a peanut butter color. But in the meantime, everything is coming together. Okay, I like to put a little bit of salt on this, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of onion powder. Those are like my 3 favorite seasonings. You can really make something taste good with just those 3 things. Okay. So as I started cooking these recipes, everyone around me was in awe. As far as, I knew I can cook great regular or the standard American diet, but I never thought that that would transfer over into my vegan cooking. And if I tell you, a lot of these recipes taste way better than your average recipes. You'll be surprised at how much you'll stop missing meat. Because you got to think about it. We're eating meat or Or if you're not, you know, I'm only 80% vegan. I've been 100% vegan, but I felt like I was like in this box. I felt like I had a bunch of restrictions on me. And if I felt that way, then I knew someone else would feel that way. And what I'm trying to relay to you guys is that as long as you're eating plant-based the majority of the time, it's okay to have a craving or to have an indulgence day, because I eat plant-based at least 4 to 5 times, 4 to 5 days a week. And then the other 2, if I have a craving, I feel it, and then I go right back to eating plant-based. So I'm never not eating plant-based. I can't even have meat 3 times a day. I would probably be sick. And believe me, I've tried to overdo it with some hot wings, and my body just did not agree. So as you start replacing your meat with vegetables in a meaty way, I know that seems weird, but with my recipes, it's just like you're really not missing the meat. That I have recipes that are almost identical to the foods that you're used to eating. Whether it's fried chicken, buffalo wings, whether it's omelets, or, oh my goodness, I have so many things. Chicken noodle soup, gumbo for instance, peach cobbler, mac and cheese, black eyed peas, greens. I have 2 types. Cabbage, cornbread, everything that you're used to eating. Candy yams, Mexican food, enchiladas, Chinese food. All of those things are inside. And so that's what makes it so exciting to me because I'm going to definitely help you guys ease into vegan. Okay, so I'm going to turn up this a little so we can get this jackfruit rolling. And then I also wanted to show you how these mushrooms look. Okay, so I sauteed them so they can have a nice little brown crisp to them. And you see how they look like little pieces of chicken? So we're going to put that inside the gumbo. Okay, so I'm just going to sit this up here. And then when my jackfruit is ready, I'm going to add that in. And then I'm going to cook my sausages. But all at the same time, my roux is going. And I'm going to show you what color it is now. Let's see, does anybody have any questions? If so, then just let me know whether it's regarding the gumbo or regarding the ease into vegan lifestyle. Even if you have questions about the cookbook, yes, definitely now's the time because I'm stirring my roux and I'm in my happy place. I'm in the kitchen. I'm teaching and I'm serving and I'm giving, which I really love to do. God has definitely called me to help and to serve and to teach. And for the longest, I was trying to not hear it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, Lord. I know that, you know, I'm creative and I'm ambitious, but to really walk in your purpose is an amazing feeling. I've been on high for like, man, the last 3 months. To really come into your own and really know what God is going to use you for and to give you a mission and a purpose to carry out, there's nothing that's going to stand in my way or stop me from helping you guys ease into vegan and to include and incorporate more vegetables in your life. That's the bottom line. We have to eat more vegetables. The whole meat thing is like a false narrative. The whole protein thing is a false narrative because, to be honest, your protein that you're eating from your meat is secondary protein. It's not even your primary source of protein. If you think about it, the animals eat what? They eat grass, they eat vegetation. So they're getting the protein from the plants itself. And then we turn around and we're getting this secondary protein, which is, I'm pretty sure, watered down. And we're overfeeding ourselves on protein. And that's why we're the leading country with all of the issues at hand right now. Other countries, they are not as sick, they're not as unhealthy, and they're not as overweight as we are in America, dealing with the standard American diet where they supersize everything. Everything is big. There's really no vegetables. You know, if you do get vegetables, it's a little teeny portion. And if you do eat them, they're GMO, which means they're filled with chemicals and pesticides. So you're really not even feeding your body. You're not giving it the nutrients that it needs on a day-to-day basis to heal itself. God made our body to heal itself over time, as long as we're feeding it what we need to feed it. Okay, so I'm going to add in just a little bit more grapeseed oil. And by the way, I only use grapeseed oil because it's a healthy fat and it's actually good for you. So if you're using vegetable oil right now, or canola oil, or olive oil, then you need to stop. You're not supposed to cook with olive oil at all. You're only supposed to use it on like salads, your pastas, but once it's cooked. So you can use it for drizzling, but not for cooking. Because once it cooks at a high temperature, it oxidizes, and now it's not even healthy for you, basically. So that's why if you're not using grapeseed oil, I suggest you go out and you get you some grapeseed oil. Make sure it's non-GMO or organic, and start cooking with that. You know, this is a process, and I know it's going to take baby steps or steps depending on how far in your journey you are of eating plant-based, but that's one of the main steps you definitely want to start to throw into your regimen. Okay, so I'm going to cook this for about a minute more, and then I'm going to take it off and start to cook my sausages. So I like to cook the sweet earth sausages whole, and then let them cool for a minute, and then cut them up and slice them and put them in my gumbo. But you can do them however you want. I think they're just like juicier that way. It doesn't dry out the sausage. Okay, do I have the thing, I forgot what it's called, to go over your hands so you don't burn yourself? The pot holders. Excuse me. The pot holders. Okay, do I have another one? Because I need to. And I'm going to show you how the roux is looking. And now I'm going to kick it up a notch just so it can get darker a little faster. But now it's to the point where I want it. I guess I don't need that one. Wait a minute. I guess I'll put this on like this. Okay. So I want to show you guys. I think next time I'm going to have my husband be the cameraman so he can just... Okay, can you see how it's like a peanut butter color now? So now it's going to go from this color. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait a minute. It's going to go from this color to a chocolate color. Okay, so I'm going to turn it up just a little. Okay, and that's going to start to cook a little faster and brown a little faster. So I'm going to take my jackfruit off. Put that up front. So, I saute those pieces. And now I'm going to cook my sausage. I'm going to add a little more grapeseed oil. And then this is the last step. Now you can easily cook this before you start that, which I usually do. But for the sake of, you know, showing you guys how it goes, I wanted to do it on camera. These smell good. Okay, and these are the Sweet Earth chorizo style sausage, so it has a little kick to them. And I love the way the Sweet Earth sausages cook up. They cook up just like real sausages. I actually like that kind better than the Beyond Meat, but depending on what they have at the store, I'll mess with both of them. Okay, so in my journey, once I started eating and cooking, losing weight, feeling better, you know, I didn't want to feel like I was hiding or sneaking anything. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to be 80% vegan and the other 20%, I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want to eat. And that's to be honest. And so that's why I adopted the 80-20 approach to plant-based living. It's like, if I have a craving and it's deep rooted, I'm just gonna feel that thing and go right back to eating plant-based. No fuss, no muss, no shame, no guilt. I'm not gonna let anyone shame me on my journey. So I know there's vegans out there that could be really harsh and cruel to people. I'm not one of those. I'm really big on self-confidence, self-love, self-esteem, and lifting people up. And how can you want someone to ease into vegan or consider the lifestyle if you're mean, rude, and nasty? You're just gonna repel them and like literally chase them away. So with this approach, you can take your time, you can ease into it, you can try a few recipes here and there. You can start off with at least 2 a week and then work your way up. Because at the end of the day, you really want to get used to cooking again. I know that they have all of these gadgets and air fryers and fast cookers and this and that and the other. But if worse come to worse and a natural disaster happens, all you're going to have is some flame and maybe some pots and pans. All of that technical high-tech stuff will be out the window, and you have to know how to cook and survive for you and your family. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but realistically, we never know what can happen. And then also, you'll know what your family is getting. You'll know what you guys are eating. See, the restaurants, it's just like you really don't know what you're getting. A lot of it's soy, a lot of it's glued meat that they glue together so you can have a nice piece of steak that really isn't a steak and it's filled with chemicals and pesticides. So that's why when you do go out, it's like an indulgence day, because you cooking at home, you know what you're getting, you know what you're buying, you know what you're preparing for your family, and you know what's going into their bodies. Not only theirs, but yours. And you feel so much better. And make it a family thing. Get everyone involved, even the kids. You'll be surprised at how many kids really love to cook. They really love to chop veggies and just really help you out in the kitchen. Okay, so now it's starting to get nice and chunky. Not now. Love you. Okay. Okay, so on Tuesday, I'll be over on Amazon Live, and I'll be making a cake for Memorial Day. And if it's not Tuesday, it'll be Thursday, but one of those days. I'll let you guys know for sure, but we're going to be making a 3-layered cake, not 3-tiered, but just 3 layers. A 3-layered cake with fresh whipped cream and strawberries in the middle, and the layers will be red, white, and blue. We'll do a nice buttercream with some strawberries on top. So I want to start you off with something simple, before we get more into the elaborate decorating. But messing with your girl, you're going to be the hero of your kitchen from cooking to baking, okay? You will be the talk of the town because all of the recipes are good. And I'm going to let you know this now. Ain't nobody's cake going to taste like mine. I've been doing cakes for over 18 years, and I've heard the same thing over and over again. I've never had anyone's cakes that taste like yours. They're so moist. It's moist, it's not too sweet. So I make them how I would like my cakes. I don't like sweet stuff. And I don't like hard cakes either. Okay, so my sausage, they got a little brown, but it's okay. Because I'm slicing these up and they're going inside the gumbo. And I think that's, I don't know if I'm going to use the Beyond Meat. I might use 2. I'm going to put those on the side. And then I'll play it by ear. This is a non-stick pan, so it's really doing pretty good. Okay, let's crank this thing up so we can get that chopping loose. Like I said, this is the longest part, but you can speed it up just a little, not too much though. Start smoking. Ooh, that might be a little too high. Okay. Okay, so that's why I made it my mission to help. To not, let's see, how can I articulate this? I didn't want anybody going through what I went through as far as the whole transferring or easing into vegan experience, because it was a nightmare. I was really getting, I don't know, I was to the point where I really wanted to give up. I'm like, well, I'll just go back to eating whatever we was eating. But it really took for me to have those visions, have those dreams, and just really, I would say, connect. That was all God. I am not even gonna take credit for it. It was all Him. I don't know how it came about. It just did. And as He was giving me ideas and visions and dreams, I was writing down and staying true to it. And I'm a doer, so if I want something, I do it and I put it into action. If I fail, I fail. If I don't, then I just move forward. But life is all about failing. You can't have success without failing. So you're failing forward. Like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, so let me try again and let me do something different. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so let me try again. So as you're failing forward. You're getting where you need to go. You're learning the things that you need to learn. You're learning what not to do and how to do that better. So I'm a true believer that failing is definitely a part of success. If you're not failing as much as you're succeeding, then you're not really going anywhere, because life is all about lessons and growing and learning. Let me tell you about my cookbook story, okay? I've been working on this thing for the last 2 years as far as my recipes, gathering pictures. Mind you, I take all of the pictures myself. So when I decided, okay, this is it. I'm going to actually do a cookbook. My audience is asking for one. I'm going to give them what they want. So I set out on my journey to write this cookbook. First, it was going to be 30 recipes. Then it jumped up to 70 recipes. And then it jumped up to 100 recipes, which I knew was like the perfect number because this book has everything that you need in it, from breakfast to main meals to soups to salads to pastas to side dishes, holiday dishes, desserts, indulgence meals. I have my oven baked salmon in there, which is like the bomb salmon. It starts off in a cold oven. Yeah, what you know about that? To my ultimate sub sandwich, where Subway ain't got nothing on that, or any other submarine sandwich place. Okay. Alright, it's getting a little smoky. Alright, so hold that thought. Let me take out my sausage. Brown it on this side too. Just put the side really quick. And don't worry, they'll get nice and soft and soggy back in the soup. I mean in the gumbo. Well, gumbo is a soup, so. Oops. Let's see. Put this over here. I got more counter space and I still don't have enough counter space. Okay, so we're entering the chocolate phase. It is now completely brown. So I'm gonna let it cook for like 3 more minutes and it's gonna enter the dark chocolate phase. And then I'm gonna add in my veggies, which is the onions, the bell pepper, the celery, and the garlic. And I'm gonna stir this around inside the roux for about 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna start to slowly add in my liquid. And from there, it's like smooth sailing. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take my sausage out. Now I'm doing something a little different because this is what I had on hand as far as the sausage. But you can use whatever sausage you want. Even if you want to use beef sausages and everything else in the gumbo is vegan, then you can, as long as you're easing into vegan and you're making those steps and you're slowly incorporating more vegetables in your diet. You shouldn't feel all stressed out and overwhelmed. That's where I come into play. I'm taking all of the guesswork out of it. I'm taking all of literally the hard work and the frustration of, searching on the internet for countless hours, trying to find a good recipe. You don't know if it's a good recipe. 9 times out of 10, they don't give you the whole recipe. You got to guess the seasonings and all of that extra stuff. You don't have to do that with me. If I'm going to give, you're going to get the whole recipe. I'm not going to leave nothing out because I don't want you to have it. I just don't work that way. So I'm truly into if it's, okay, that's out. All right, guys. And then take this out for me, maybe, so it's not sitting here smoking. Got it? Watch out, there's a little oil in there. Okay. Now let me move this out of the way a little. And bring this over. Okay. Okay, so, you won't get that from me. You'll get the real recipe. I won't leave out anything just to keep it for me so no one else can't have it. It'll be the tried and true recipe that I know tastes good. I've already cooked it a gazillion times. I know what it tastes like. Other people have tasted it and enjoyed it just as much. It's kid approved. So you'll definitely know, and you'll definitely be the hero in your kitchen. I just can't express it enough. Okay, so now we're at a chocolate And I have to show you guys so you can see what color it went through. What color it turned into, I should say. Okay, so can you see how this is now like a chocolate brown? I don't know if you can see that, but it literally looks like chocolate milk. It's brown now. It's not peanut butter, it's not beige, it's brown. It's a chocolate color. I would call it chocolate. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. Okay, so we're gonna add in our onions. Now this is 1 medium onion. This is a yellow onion. You don't want to use a sweet onion. 2 stalks of celery. And then 1 medium bell pepper. And these are all finely diced. You don't want big chunks of flavoring in your gumbo. So this is literally flavoring the roux. And now I'm going to add in my garlic. And this is about 4 to 6 cloves of garlic, depending on how small they are or big they are. I always use 6 though, no matter what. It just adds that much more flavor. Okay, so now I have this, I don't know if you can see it. These are my veggies and they're mixed in with the roux. And I'm just gonna continue to saute them until they're like translucent, which is about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm gonna time that. Could you time that for me, babes? And once that happens, I'm gonna slowly incorporate my broth that I have over here. And it's better to use like a warm broth. So that's why I brought it to a simmer. And I simmered it with a little seaweed sheet that I can literally just pick up and pull out and take out. You see, this is the seaweed sheet that was inside. I literally got all of the flavoring out of it. So now my broth or my stock is just so flavorful. It's flavored vegan style, of course, chicken broth, and the nori, which is like a seafood, a seaweed. It gives that seafood flavor. So it's a combination of both. And it just makes the broth that much rich and flavorful and tasty. But when you finish eating, you're not weighed down and you don't have the itis. You're full, but you're full in a light way to where you're like, I can do this. I can really do this. Okay, so while that's cooking, talk to me, guys. You have any questions? I know someone has something. Let's see. Okay, yes, I will be streaming on Amazon, on Amazon.com. And I'll be doing my first cake there. If you guys want to join me, I will be sure to drop the link so you can see. He said, thank you for the introduction to healthy. You are welcome, Celeste. Okay. I don't know if everybody is still on here, but I'll give a shout out. Hi, Sunny. Hi, Angela. I said hi to Brianna already. Gail, Jessica, Takia, if that's how you pronounce your name. Lean, or Lean. Or maybe is it short for Erlene? I don't know. But hello, and thanks for joining me. Betty Davis, thank you. Lynn, Diana, and Teresa. My mom. Hi, Mom. Let's see. and my cousin, Celeste. Hi. Okay. All right. Well, at any point in time, if you have any questions, then just let me know. Okay. So, I basically was able to heal my body from the inside out with the power of food completely. Like, I'm completely healed. I don't have no issues, no joint pain, no headache. I was able to have my baby girl. I was able to carry her to full term, healthy, and deliver her healthy, natural. I even breastfed her for 4 years. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness, 4 whole years exclusively, no bottle at all. Whew, that was work, but it was so worth it. It was just so worth it. That bonding experience was amazing. And I only planned on going for the first year, but after that, she was hooked. So I couldn't do anything about it. And no one tells us this. Like, if you go past a year, it's going to be hard to wean them. It's going to be difficult to wean them. Hard is not even the word. She would not take a bottle for anything. And we tried different bottles, different nipple tips, different everything. And it was just like, no. She was used to breast milk, and that's what she got. And she's overall a healthy baby. She's only been sick maybe like twice in her life. And that's literally because one time we were at Whole Foods, and she decided to walk up to the freezer section and lick the glass. So I just knew that she was going to get sick off of that because there's germs all over that. People are touching on that all day and night. And then another time we went to Disneyland with my cousin, and one of my little cousins was sick. I didn't know, and she was literally just coughing and sneezing in Kenzie's face the whole time we were there. So I just knew she was going to be sick. But other than that, she's a healthy kid. She eats plant-based. Even my teenage son, I was able to get him to eat mostly plant-based. He has definitely leaned out. He has like a nice physique. Even, you know, his friends ask, or their moms, they usually ask, well, what are you doing? Well, are you feeding him something special? And it's more like he eats organic, and he eats 50% plant-based. So it really makes a difference. You can literally help change your whole family's lifestyle and keep them around, because we are dying at a rapid rate. I mean, when I say rapid, I mean rapid. 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they're having strokes, they're having heart attacks. So this is not an old man or old woman thing anymore. It's like whoever is going to get it is going to get it. Like, if you're feeding your kids the wrong stuff from the jump, then you're basically shortening their life. I know so many kids that are 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're diabetic already. They're already diabetic. They're drinking tons of sodas, tons of Starbucks drinks. All of that stuff needs to be limited, and it needs to be drinking in moderation. That's full of sugar. Sugar is going to turn into fat, and fat is going to clog up everything it possibly can. And I'm going to give you an example. Has it been 10 minutes? How many minutes we have left? Oh, 2 minutes left. Okay. But everything is sort of like sauteing down, and then it's going to turn into a nice soup, gumbo. Okay. Take this for example. When you have diabetes and you go to the doctor, they most likely tell you, oh, you're going to have to change your diet. You can't eat sugar, you can't eat candy, you're going to have to cut back on the carbs, you're going to have to cut back on this and that and the other. But as you're doing those things, you're still diabetic. As you're listening and cutting out the sugar or cutting out the carbs and cutting out this, you're still diabetic. And that's because you haven't cut out the meat. The meat is what's really making people diabetic. That and all of the processed foods. These processed foods that you're buying out of the boxes, all these ho-hos and donuts and ding-dongs and oatmeal cookies and all of that stuff is so processed. 9 times out of 10 is made with soy. It has so much sugar in it, and then it's not even like really real food. There's no nutritional value whatsoever. So compiling that on all of the meat you're eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every single day, you're just piling it on, making it worse and worse. Your arteries are getting clogged. Your body cannot regulate itself. Your hormones is out of whack. Everything is just out of whack. Your gut starts breaking down. Now you have autoimmune issues. You just don't know what's coming from where. You might get a cancer diagnosis. You might have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It's because of the meat. That fat in the meat, for example, when you have a nice piece of steak, you know, you have a little fat marbleized in there, and when you fry it up, it looks all tender and juicy, and you're like, ooh, that's what the juice is. That's what the flavor is. And then you chew it up and you take it down, and it goes into your stomach, and it ends up looking the same way it did before you cooked it. That fat turns back into that white, thick piece of fat that's clogging up everything, not allowing your body to digest it. It's clogging your arteries. It's not allowing the sugar that you're taking in to go through your bloodstream and actually like permeate through your cells and go where it needs to go. Instead, all of this fat is clogging it and trapping it, so it just stays in your bloodstream. So when you check your sugar, it's going to be high because your sugar has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to go because you're clogging the crap out of your arteries, out of your cells, because you know fat is stored in cells too. So that's why you want healthy fats. Healthy fats and not saturated fats that are going to clog up everything. Okay, so now I'm going to start ladling in my broth, one ladle at a time, just to begin with, because I don't want my my flour mixture to get lumpy on me. So I'm just going to sort of stir it until it's smooth. And it smells like super wonderful in here. And if you start this early enough, like if I would have actually been live at 9:30, it would have been done already. And then you go about your day and you get to come back to some delicious vegan gumbo. Okay, so it's still pretty early though, considering. So I'm going to stir this in. All right, let me see. Do I have any questions? Okay, feel free if you have any questions just to let me know. So I was able to heal my whole family from the inside out, including my husband. He was having the same issues. And ladies, wink, wink. If you want your man around and him to still be able to poke and stroke, you want to make sure you're giving him this good vegan food, because that's going to keep everything working, everything flowing, and yeah, it's a win-win for him and you. And that's important. It might be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's a conversation that we need to have, because men are, let's face it, they go through erectile dysfunction more often than not, and it's mainly because of the meat, you know, and they're like really big meat eaters, so it starts with that, you know. So this is a way to make sure you keep your sex life on point, not only now, but later on too. Exactly. It's a fact. Yeah, that's like important to me, And marriage ain't all about that, but it's all about that, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's a part of life, and yeah, I need that in my life. Okay, so I'm gonna pour this in now. Okay, we're gonna get this nice and broken up. All right, so now I'm gonna turn up my heat, literally till it comes to a boil. So let me move this out the way. Babes, give me a whisk. Give me a whisk. Just want to make sure all of this is broken up. Okay, so I added about, like I said, 12 to 13 cups of broth. And I'm just going to give it a quick whisk. Make sure everything is all broken up. Okay, so now this is where we start to add in our seasonings and our veggies and all of that stuff. Okay, so now we have a full roux here. It's already nice and soupy, as you can see. And you don't want your gumbo thick. You know, the true definition of gumbo is it is a soup. So you want it more soupy than not, because if it's too thick, you're gonna have like a gravy, and that's how much that gumbo is not a gravy. So it'll continue to thicken up on you, and then you're wondering why everything is just stiff and not an actual soup. Okay, so I'm gonna add in two tablespoons of Creole seasoning, and this is like a homemade Creole seasoning that I made with a little bit of salt, pepper, basil, oregano, thyme, and some paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder. I have the recipe for that, and then I'll post it, because why go out and buy Cajun or Creole seasoning when you can just make your own, and then you can save it for the next time you want gumbo as well. And then most of the ingredients are something that you will have on hand, so I just usually make my own. Okay, so we're gonna do 1, 2, so 2 tablespoons of Creole seasoning. Then I'm gonna add in 3 bay leaves. I'm gonna add in 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of parsley. Okay, so let me give this a nice stir. Okay, and now we're gonna add in one more thing, which is 4 cups of water. And I know you're like, water, but you just added all this broth. Yes, but I'm adding flavor and seasonings, and you don't want your broth to get thick on you. Like I said, it's not a gravy. So I have 4 cups of water in here. Just gonna add that in there. And then I'm gonna let this come to a boil. But as I do that, I'm going to add in my jackfruit and my oyster mushrooms. I'm not gonna add in my sausage until I add in my corn and okra. And I only do that at the end because I don't know about you, but I don't like soggy corn on the cob. I hate it. I like it to have a nice little bite where it's like nice and juicy, but it's not overcooked to where the kernels are all sunken in and it just look like it's been in cooking for like 30 minutes or an hour or something. You should never cook your corn on the cob longer than 15 minutes. 15 to 17, it just depends on the heat you have it on. But see, I'm adding the oyster mushroom, the king oyster mushroom, and I'm adding the jackfruit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let this come to a boil, and in the meantime, I'm gonna slice up my sausage and then start clearing some of this stuff out of the way, because we're almost done. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, so here, we can put this back in the refrigerator. Put that under there. And this, all of this stuff is, you might want to throw that away. Oh, I forgot one of these, but whatever. Okay. All right. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Whatever you miss, you can definitely catch on the replay. But if you want the recipe, there's if you want the recipe, you can comment me in the comments, or you can join the group. That's where you get it free. You just go to, what is the name of the group? He's in the vegan cooking with Kim Mcghee. Sorry about that. I don't know, my brain just went somewhere. Okay. Ooh, this is smelling and looking good. Okay, and then once we put that corn and all of that stuff. Okay, so this is a tip. I put the jackfruit in there and the king oyster mushrooms because I really want these two things to infuse. I want that gumbo flavor and that roux to really infuse into the jackfruit. So when you pick it up, it literally shreds like a piece of chicken, looks like a piece of chicken, and it just tastes and reeks of delicious gumbo. Now, if you put that in later, it's not really gonna have time to do that. So that's why I add it in when I add in my seasonings. And don't worry, this is not salty. It's not bland. I mean, it's just right. It's just flavored just right. And you can always tweak it to your taste, but usually I don't have to. It's always just spot on. And that's what I really, really, really love about it. Okay, so now we're gonna cut our sausage up. I'm done with this. Cutting board. Okay, so I always keep 2 cutting boards, one for veggies and one for meat. So this is the one that I like to use for my veggies. Okay, and then I'm just gonna slice these. I don't want them too big or too little. Now this is the Beyond Meat sausage. I'm going to cut that as well. I'm probably going to do a little bit of both. Like I said, I've been craving spicy stuff for some reason. I don't know why. But I just want a little kick to it. Okay. And I'm going to taste one of these to see how spicy it is, because that's going to determine how many I put in there and if I that's not spicy at all, really. It has like a smoky flavor to it. That's good. All right. Okay, so depending on how meaty you like it, I usually add anywhere from 4 to 6 pieces of sausage. So I think that was, because how many did I make? I think yeah, 6 altogether. So I'm gonna cut one more. Okay, that one's feeling better. And the skin's sort of overcooked in this non-stick skillet. I usually cook it with oil in my other, but it cooked it even faster in this one. Okay. So this is the sausage that I'm gonna add into my gumbo once I add in my corn and my okra. Like I said, I put that in at the last like 15 minutes because I don't want it to overcook. I don't want my okra slimy in here and all of the little seeds and stuff falling out. That's gonna make the kids not want to eat it. But if you have like nice al dente vegetables where they're firm but yet soft and tender, where you can actually bite through them and they keep their shape and you're not cooking all of the nutrients out of it as well. Okay. So now once this comes to a boil, and I'm gonna help it out by putting my top on, we're gonna literally cook this for about 15 minutes. You can do 20 if you want, but I'm gonna do 15 for camera's sake. And I made some rice as well, some basmati rice. So when I'm plating my gumbo, I like to put like a little, maybe like a little 1/4 of a cup of rice at the bottom, and then I just pour the gumbo on top. This is like heaven, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, it's so, so good. Okay, so this is the jackfruit. You see that, the organic jackfruit? Let me show you. They sell these at most stores. They even have them at Smart and Final, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. It might not be this brand, but you're always looking for the organic young jackfruit. The young jackfruit is not sweet, and you can use this as a meat replacer depending on how you cook it. But I have tons of recipes in my book, from vegan fried chicken to taquitos and some other stuff that I make with jackfruit, including this delicious gumbo. Yes, so you definitely want to get on board. Now, if you don't have a recipe and you call yourself just cooking it up on your own, it might be an epic fail because you have to cook jackfruit a certain way. Ooh, excuse me. And it tastes best when you know what you're doing. So don't just try to wing it like, oh, I'm gonna get a can of jackfruit and turn it into some beef. Yeah, it might be a little easier said than done. So yeah, I would suggest picking up that book. Okay, all right, so it's coming to a boil. I have my corn on the cob that I'm gonna be putting in, and my okra, and my sausage. Those are the last 3 things that I'll be putting in. Okay, and then we can put the rest of this stuff up. It goes in the refrigerator. I won't need this. If I do need anything, oh, what is that? Is that the better than bouillon? Let me have that back. Now you can put these 2 up. I don't know where the top is. Oh, there it is. And I'm gonna keep the salt. Okay, anybody has any questions? I know this is sort of a lengthy video. They're not usually over like 30 minutes to an hour, but I just had to really share this vegan gumbo recipe because it is delicious. And don't worry if it's just one person. You can literally have this for leftovers. It's so good. It just tastes better and better as the days go by. It'll stay nice and fresh for at least 5 days in your refrigerator, so you don't have to worry about it going bad. There's no meat in it. There's only veggies, so you know it's not gonna spoil really quick. There's no seafood in it, so you know with seafood, literally you gotta eat the gumbo right away, or the shrimp and the crab will start smelling and going bad. You don't have to worry about any of that. You can actually cook this and then, you know, share it. Okay, so I'm gonna taste a little of the roux just to see what do I need, if I need anything. I always add either a half a cold or a whole cold bottle of water at the end. When everything is done, it just like marries the flavor together that much more. And it, I don't know, it just does something with the flavor. I mean, it just intensifies it. So it's just delicious. It doesn't water it down. It doesn't make it too cold. It just like really locks in the flavors. This spoon. Okay, so I'm gonna taste this. Okay, so now it's boiling. And I'm gonna taste this without burning myself. I think it might need, oh! Okay, it's boiling. All right, let me turn it down. Oh, I'm making a mess. That fast. Okay. Well, don't try that at home. So when you bring it to a boil, just make sure you watch it. Okay, now that it's boiling, I'm gonna let it sort of cook like that with the lid halfway on. I think we have like 10 minutes left, and then I'm gonna add in my corn and my okra and my sausage. Matter of fact, I think I want it closed, but I just want to simmer in a little more. Okay, and I'll keep an eye on it. Okay, does anyone have any questions? No. Okay. All right. So, okay. So like I was saying, I just made it my mission to help people eat more veggies, one person at a time. And I did all of this with no exercise. So officially, I haven't started exercising yet. I might go on walks here and there, but as far as like exercising, I haven't done any exercising. And I was able to lose 35 pounds in a matter of like 3.5, 4 months. So that's the good thing about eating plant-based. You can really control your weight. If you want to gain a little more, you can. If you want to lose a little more, you can. When I initially went vegan, I slimmed all the way down, and then I started building back up because I wanted to stay curvy. And I know that's an issue for a lot of women, you know, that go vegan. They don't want to lose their curves, or they're afraid that they might look like a stick figure. No offense to anyone who likes to be nice and thin and lean, but I know for me, I love my curves. I love my hips and my butt and my thighs and all of that stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to maintain my curves, heal my body, lose weight, and eat good. Those are like the 4 things that a woman can't resist. Who, you know, everyone wants curves. They want to look good. They want to eat good. So, yeah, you can definitely do that and maintain your weight. Because I've been able to maintain my weight except for the quarantine, of course. Everybody got quarantine thick. I'll say it again. That's why we're here, to get the snack back going. But yeah, that year I was doing a whole lot of munching and snacking and eating, and I gained some pounds. I still look good, but I'm a little fluffier than usual, and it's okay. So, you know, don't let no one talk down on you as far as where you are, because we are all at different places in our journey, and no one will ever be in the same place as you. We're all different. We all have different schedules. We all have different lives. So just start where you are. You don't have to be a specialist or a professional. You don't have to figure it out. I've taken all of the hard work out, so you don't have to figure it out. All you have to do is apply. All you have to do is cook my recipes and apply them to your life and your lifestyle, your family's life, and you will see the changes come to pass. You will see you losing weight. And if you are not like a big carb eater, you can omit the carbs. If you don't want to eat a lot of carbs, you don't have to. I have a section of pasta. I have a pasta section. You can totally play around with those recipes, but the core of the recipe will stay the same as far as like the sauce and the vegetables you use. You can always use zoodles, which is like the zucchini noodles. You can always use spaghetti squash, which is like a squash. You cut it and you bake it, and then once you get to stirring it up inside, it looks like spaghetti noodles, literally, but it's a vegetable. So you can always do the whole give and take and play around and make it your own, but the core will always be there, and you won't have to go scouring the internet for delicious recipes, because these are like homemade traditional recipes that you can actually serve your guests, whether friends or family, and they won't even know it's vegan. If you don't say nothing, they won't even know. They will not know, and they won't even care, because it tastes good, and that's the main thing. You want food that tastes good. It not only looks good, but it tastes good, and that's most important, because who wants nasty food? And that's what I thought of, because at the end of the day, I don't want you really reverting back to your old ways. We're going to have to learn to let the standard American diet go. And if you read the initials, it's SAD. It's sad. It's just a sad diet all the way around. They lied to us. Dairy is not good for us. It's not building your bones. It's not providing the calcium that you need for your bones to make them strong. Matter of fact, most of the people who drink milk ends up with osteoporosis. And why is that? Because the two don't go hand in hand. If you really want to strengthen your bones, then magnesium is what you really need. Our body is made up of vitamins and minerals, but more minerals. So the more minerals you take in, the better off you'll be. So you definitely want to incorporate that. All right. Ooh, this smells so good. Okay, so I'm going to add in, I said it needed a little something. I think I'm going to add in a teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon, because I might have put an extra thing of water, because I think didn't I put 13 cups in here? But I only put 12 teaspoons of the Better Than Bouillon. I need the little black teaspoon. Yeah, that one. So you can like play it by ear as far as once it's all coming together, you know the taste when you taste it. That's why I always say season to taste, because it's so important. And that's how you come up with good food. If you don't season to taste, it will be bland every single time. It won't have any flavor. And when I say flavor, I don't mean salty, but it'll be flavorful. Okay, so I'm going to add in that, give it a nice stir, taste it a little, and then I might just need a little bit more salt, because there's a lot of veggies that's going in here. Ooh, I can't wait to eat this. Okay. Has anybody else joined us? Hi, Cassandra. And then, who is that? Letitia? I think that's her name. Thanks for joining me. Okay. Okay, so now that while that's cooking, let me finish telling you about the cookbook story. Okay, so oh my goodness. Oh, whenever you want something out of life, just know that there will be trials and tribulations that come your way to test you to see how bad you really want the thing. Okay, like I said, I've been working on my book for about 2 years now. I got it all together. I made the decision that I'm going to write a book and give my audience what they want. So, I did all of that, put it together, did all of my part, and then I submitted to someone to do the design and layout of the book. Now, mind you, I'm not going to put him on blast, but this guy is a very popular guy. He has like a big following. He's an author. That's all he talks about is books and helping authors and this and that and the other. Okay, so I literally paid him up front and was like, whew, that's one thing that's out of the way. Now I could just still continue to focus on promoting my book and everything. When he turned that book in, first of all, he was late. He said it was not going to take that long, but I don't think he realized that 100 recipes is a lot. It's not just like your novel where it's just all words. These are words with pictures and descriptions and tips and stuff like that. So he turned the book in and it was horrible. When I say horrible, I mean horrible. The recipes didn't line up with the pictures. It was just all jumbled. It looked so generic and plain. And mind you, this is a well-known author that didn't know what the hell he was doing and basically just tried to take my money. So then I got with Sunny. Yes, Sunny. And she has completely just opened up my vision even more because it was already there. But now she's helping me put it into place, which I really didn't have that factor in. Someone that I can trust, someone that was a spiritual person, someone that had morals and values and integrity. So once I got with her, it's just like now all of the ideas and dreams and visions and goals that I have on the inside, I can actually bring them to life because she's on the same like mental wavelength. And that's why it's so important to be around like-minded people. If you're not on the same page, it's not gonna work. Either you're gonna bring them up or they're gonna bring you down. But when two powerhouses come together, it's just like, oh, fireworks. So that's what we're creating right now. I have the perfect person doing my book. The design is like 10 times better. It falls in line with my brand. She's doing it quickly and efficiently, and it should be ready by the end of next week. And then I just send them out to print, and then I can mail off whoever pre-ordered the actual book, and then I can email the people who ordered the download version, the downloadable version, or the ebook, I should say. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. I just heard the timer go off. But I said all of that to say that do not get discouraged. When you're working on something big and God gives you an assignment, there will be things to stand in your way, to test your faith, to test your walk, to see how big your faith is. Everything is going to come your way. Even things in your family will go wrong. everything will come your way. Things to try to distract you, to try to get you off your game, to try to get you off your goal and your mission. But you just got to stay the course and just deal with each day as it comes. I never really worry about the future like that. I just take it one day at a time, because I know when you're being led and you just have that faith and you know that you're being guided, it just all works out. It just, I mean, God is just amazing. I can't even take credit. It's just, ooh, you know when you know. You know when he's working in your life. Let's put it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to add in my sausage. Ooh, now mind you, this is not the sausage I usually use. I'm playing around with the different sausages. You can use whatever sausage you like, whether it's vegan or not. It's just up to you. Okay, so I'm going to put that in, stir it up. I'm going to add in my corn on the cob. Now before you do this, if you want to let it cook longer than 20 minutes, you definitely can. I usually let it cook anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how fast I want to eat or not. If I have time, then I'll go 40. If I don't, and I'm just like super hungry and the house is smelling so good from the gumbo, then I just give the 20 minutes and that's that. Okay, then we're going to put in our okra. So I usually use about 10 to 12 pieces. No more than 14, so it's like the perfect ratio. And then I try to go for like the smaller pieces of okra, so they're not like really big. And you want to make sure all your veggies are organic or non-GMO. You don't want to cook with GMO vegetables or seasoning. You want to slowly transfer those things over. Okay, so I'm going to give it a good stir. And then I'm going to just let this simmer for the next 15 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Not unless you guys have any questions. But it usually takes about 15 minutes for this corn and okra to cook. I don't want my okra soggy, so I'm just going for an al dente touch, to where when I pick it up and touch it, it's soft. If I take one out and bite it, I usually just test it. I take one out and eat it up. So if I bite it and it's like tender, but it's firm, you know when you know it's not soggy and overcooked. You don't want to overcook it, because remember, you're going to be warming this gumbo up. Like tomorrow, we're going to have these for leftovers, and it's going to be that much better. But if you can get a close-up. So I wonder, should I keep the camera right there, or should I bring it on in and zoom into this goodness? Let's see. People can join the Facebook group and receive the recipe for free. Yes, so if you want the free recipe, be sure to join the Facebook group. It's Ease Into Vegan Cooking with Kim Mcghee. If not, you're just going to have to buy the book. If you want the free recipe now so you can try this out before you get the book, then this is the way to go. You definitely want to join that group. We're going to be doing so much cooking and baking in there that you're really going to like it. It's on a weekly basis. I'll be streaming live from my page sometimes. Like, this is the first day of the cooking show. So that's why I wanted to stream live here. But not always will I stream live from my main page. I will stream live inside the group. So you definitely want to be in there. And then we have the recipe in a printable PDF for you, so you don't have to go scouring the internet for it or log into the group when you want it. You can just download it and have it on your phone, or you can download it, print it out, and then you can have it in your kitchen when you're ready to cook the meal. Okay. And I like the multicolored corn, so I'm gonna taste test it one more time. I said I was gonna add a little salt and I didn't, so let me add that first. Okay. This is so good. The juice alone, oh, is like heaven sent. I'm telling you, oh, so good. And I'm not just hyping it up. It's that delicious. It really is. If you have been following me for a while and you've tried my recipes, you know that I don't play when it comes to cooking these vegan meals. And if it don't taste right, I don't want it. So I'm not going to give you anything that I don't want. Okay. So when it's done, I'm going to pull out these these bay leaves. I'm going to taste this right now. I'm going to burn myself. That's it. I want a bowl now. Okay. Oh. That is so good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you guys. You gotta try this. You gotta spend that hour and a half in the kitchen and cook this gumbo for your peeps. Not only for yourself, but for your family. And just see what they say. Don't tell them it's vegan. Just let the aroma in the house get their taste buds all riled up. And then you be like, dinner's ready. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Okay, so I'll leave it up to you guys. We can continue to let this cook for the next 10 minutes with the lid on. Or I can stop it and then come back once it's done. Let me know if you want me to stay or if you want me to come back. So if you want me to stay, just drop a 1 in the comments. If you want me to come back, then you can drop a 2. And then I'll know. Because then I'll just let this cook for about 10 to 12 minutes. If not, then we can chit chat and then I can plate it up and show you exactly how everything looks once it's done. If my phone wasn't on this stand, I would definitely bring the camera around to give you guys like this, this vision. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this up a little. So it's not simmering, but it's like cooking. It's like on a low boil. So I have it on a medium heat. That's gonna cook my corn and my okra in about 10 minutes. All right. All right, so I guess I'll stay. Yes, I'll stay. Okay, so while we're at it, we can talk about fish. I know, there's people out there who think, oh, I'm eating healthier, I'm eating fish. Well, if you knew how the fish is being farmed and raised, if it's not wild caught, if you're eating like fish from your regular grocery store, say made Bonds, Ralph's, Kroger's, I don't know, they have, it's something like a Food for Less. It's Food for Less out here, but it might be Publix somewhere else. I'm not sure of the different stores that they have out. Ooh. What was that? Okay, out back south and down west and stuff. What was that? That was the little top from the thing, from the butane can. It's filled with mercury and their living conditions are horrid. If you ever seen a farm raised fish, they're like raised in this little pool of water. They're piled in there. They all have like ailments. A lot of them have infections and diseases. So they're constantly putting antibiotics inside the water in that little pool that they're being farmed and raised. Because let's face it, most fish are not wild caught. They're not going out to sea and catching them. And then the ones that they are, it's just so much mercury inside the fish that it's better to eat it less than more. So if you think, oh, well, I'm not going to eat chicken, I'm not going to eat beef, I'm just going to stick with the fish, you're going to end up in the same situation. Whether it be crab, shrimp, fish, salmon, especially now. Now the government has approved the GMO salmon. So now they're being like literally raised and grown. They're genetically modified and they approve this. So if you know in the salmon, when you have a nice little piece of salmon and you see those thick like white lines in the middle of them, that thickness, that's like the mercury deposits and all of the deposits of the bad stuff. And we're thinking it's a healthy fat, but in actuality, that's the part that's really killing us. Even with the chicken, even with the beef. Like, meat is not raised like it used to be. They're not happy on a farm somewhere just eating grass. Now everything is industrialized. So there's industrialized farming where they're stuffing all the cows in one central location. They're slaughtering them at a massive rate. They're not even feeding them grass. They're not allowing them to walk and get fresh air and eat what they normally are meant to eat. They're feeding them corn feed, and most of that corn feed is GMO. So basically, they're eating GMOs, then we're eating them, which is a bunch of more GMOs with the chemicals and the pesticides and the toxins and all of that stuff. And just think about it. You're compiling that every single day. As a meat eater, you're eating meat at least the minimum 3 times a day. That's just the minimum. Now, if you have a snack in between and you're having salami and cheeses and bologna and all of that stuff, and then before dinner you pick up a 12-piece hot wing, it's just like we're eating too much protein and too much meat on a daily basis. And that's why most people are overweight. That's why we have more people that's overweight than not, because we're literally consuming a protein diet only. Where's the vegetables? And I've known so many people who have like stomach issues and their doctors tell them, well, you really can't eat vegetables like that. Stay away from fresh fruits and vegetables. It'll irritate your stomach. Stick to like canned vegetables and canned fruit. What? Are you kidding me? That's just the opposite. But we have to think, because this is a business. They're not in it to heal you. If you're healed, then they're not making any money. If you're sick and you're continually sick, then they have a full-blown business. Just think of you times 1,000,000 people coming in to get service, and they're just stuffing you with pills and giving you all the wrong advice to keep their pockets rolling. But if you start to look within and really do the research and then figure out that those things that they're telling you to stay away from are the very things that will heal your body, it makes sense. It makes sense because they're trying to get paid off of you, and that's pretty much it. You're just money to them. So maybe the doctors back in the day, because like I said, I was a nurse and I used to work for doctors. They were caring and loving and kind and actually cared about their patients. The doctors today, now, they don't even really teach them on nutrition. You know, the class that they have is real brief. They'll tell you, oh, you might need to change your diet, but they're still telling you to eat a lot of meat. Oh, you need your protein. Oh, you need your dairy. No, you don't. No, you don't. Stay away from that. That's just going to clog your arteries. It's going to make your stomach all messed up. Really, with the autoimmune diseases, they're like running rapid rampant these days. So our bodies is literally attacking itself because we're putting so much foreign stuff inside of it, be it the GMOs and the chemicals and the pesticides. I don't know if you guys heard of, what are they called? I'm going to say Montana, but they're not. Is it Monsanto? I think so. Well, they're the main ones behind the GMOs, and they just lost a big lawsuit to someone, this guy who had won because he had developed cancer, and it was like an aggressive cancer, but he was able to prove that it's the GMOs. So they've been losing a lot of battles as far as lawsuits are concerned because people are waking up and they are knowing that the GMOs are killing everybody. They're literally breaking our bodies down. We are not meant to feel sick all the time, and we don't need to settle into that either. You know, so many people are like used to like having illnesses and being sick and unhealthy is okay, and if you're healthy you're looked at like you're weird. Like, what? You're trying to change your health? Yes. And I want to be around for my kids and my great grandkids and however long I can possibly be around. And I don't want to be around with a cane, limping and all of that stuff, and I'm only 40, 50 years old. I've seen it. Now, from this day forward, when you go out into the world, you just notice how many people have the meat limp. They're sort of like walking with the limp. That's the meat limp. That limp is coming from all of the meat they're consuming, and their joints are literally just like breaking down and giving way to where your joints are so inflamed more than they're not. Literally, you're just walking around aching and in pain pretty much all day. And then they say, oh, you need a knee surgery. Oh, you need another knee surgery. Then you go back in. Oh, well, we didn't do this right. We're going to have to open you back up, and then you might need a hip surgery. They want you to have all these different surgeries because that's where the money is. So just think of the medical industry as a big, and the pharmaceutical companies, as someone who just wants you to stay in the same condition because they want to get paid from you all the time. It's just never ending. Okay, so I'm gonna check my my okra. Ooh, that corn is looking nice and good. Oh, ooh, this is so good. Yeah, your doctor's visits. Now, if you have any ailments and conditions, you know, and you're under the care of a doctor, by no means am I telling you to just don't do what the doctor says. But if your doctor is not healing you or helping you heal to where you're seeing him less and less instead of more and more, then you need to change doctors, or you need to start to take your health into your own hands. And it's possible. I've done it. I've known people who've done it. I'm teaching people to do it. So it's possible. Okay. So I'm taking out my bay leaves. There's 3 that I put in there. I'm going to taste test it one more time. And then I'm also going to taste one of these okras. Like I said, I told you I don't want it to be overcooked. Let's see, is there a little bowl? This bowl is clean, isn't it? Where's my ladle? The ladle? Okay, this is looking delicious. Food makes me happy, as you can see. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna try to find the smallest piece. I mean, the smallest one. I'll make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, so I'm going to plate it for you guys, but I just want to make sure that the okra is done. Okay, we're going to taste the roux. And while that's doing that, I'll put the top back on it so it can continue to cook. This is delicious, guys. Okay, now time to test this okra, and then I'll know if I need to cook it for like 3 more minutes. This is perfect. You see, it was tender to the bite, but it still has a little crunch, so it's not soggy. And remember, it's sitting in this hot liquid, so it's gonna continue to cook. Let me see, did I turn that off? It's gonna continue to cook as it's just sitting there. So that's when I usually just sort of cock the lid a little, so it's not, you know, continuing to cook that much. But then also when you rewarm it, you're cooking it again. So you want it to where it just has that simple bite. It's tender, but you know the nutrients are still there. So now let's plate this thing. I'm so excited I get to eat. Okay, honey, some rice. Yes, baby. Of course. Okay, so bring this over. Okay, so I have some white rice here. It's nice and fluffy and it's done to perfection. And then I'm just gonna take about 1/4 of a cup only. Put a little at the bottom of my bowl, or maybe a 1/2 cup, because I'm hungry. You can omit the rice if you don't want it, or you could just use that 1/2 of a cup, so it's just that little teeny bit. And then we're going to, okay, now it might look a little more red than usual because I use the chipotle sausages, but it still looks like gumbo, so. Okay, so now I'm just gonna start to, and I always like to serve people 2 pieces of corn, a few pieces of sausages and jackfruit. And like I said, as the jackfruit just sits in there, just like really marries, you definitely have to give them some juice. And then I'll do 2 pieces of okra. So I like to do 2 of both, of the okra and the corn. And then I'm gonna show you what's inside. Ooh, it's a little hot. Okay, so if you can see this, ooh. All right. And you see they got the rice and the sausage. You got your corn. Oh, you see the corn is not overcooked. It's nice, and oh my goodness. And then you have your pieces of jackfruit, which is like your chicken pieces. Oh, and then you have your sausage. Oh my goodness. And then the roux with the rice. You're not gonna go wrong with it. It's so delicious. Who's that? Hey, Auntie Jackie. You want some gumbo? We might have to put you some to the side. If you come pick it up, I'll save you a bowl. If you're, I don't know if you're at work today in the area, but I would definitely save you a bowl if you want some. Okay, you guys, so that's it. If you want your okra a little more cooked, then you can go for what you know. But like I said, it's going to be sitting in this hot liquid, and then you have to warm it up too, so you don't want it to get too soggy. And then you always want to taste test it before you serve it, just to make sure you know, it's just right according to your taste buds. The flavor is there. You're not gonna have to add too much of anything. If so, it might be a little pinch of salt like I did, or another teaspoon of the no chicken base better than bouillon. And let me show you what this looks like so you know. You see, it says better than bouillon, organic, no chicken base. So this is like the the chicken broth of a vegan. It's the vegan chicken broth, basically. And they have the little cubes, but I like how this works. It's so much better. I use this in a lot of different recipes inside the cookbook. So if you buy a jar, and mind you, it's only $5.99. A container of broth at the store is anywhere from $2.99 to $5.99. And that's 132 ounce. You can get way more out of this. So this is cost effective, and it just saves you much more money and time. You don't have to open all those cans and those boxes. You just pop it open, and 1 teaspoon is equivalent to 8 ounces of chicken broth. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm about to enjoy this vegan gumbo. So I will see you guys next Saturday. Tuesday on Amazon, but I'll be sure to keep you updated and post links and send out emails. But, ooh, it's hot. It's super hot. I need to put it on a plate before I eat it. But I will see you back here next Saturday. We're going to be making the red velvet pancakes with the sheet pan egg bake. So it's going to be like real special for Memorial's Day, with the red velvet pancakes and the cream cheese drizzle frosting. We're gonna have like some the sheet pan egg bake, like I said, with the vegan sausage and some fresh fruit. So it'll be a whole vegan breakfast that I put together for you guys. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.